James Mathers at NAB 2022 for the Digital Cinema Society. I'm here with my friend Bryce Button from AJA, and he's going to tell us about all AJA's new products. What do you got for us, Bryce?
Good to see you again, James. It's just nice to be back in person. We start there, right? So AJA this year has got 6 major announcements. Some of them are physical products, some of them are serious firmware updates for other products. Starting with openGate being the rack frame environment originally begun by Ross. We've got a couple of new 12G fiber transmitters there, which is great. You can come in over SDI, and one card is basically an LC card, so your standard RJ45 sends out a single channel of that. And then we've got a 2-channel ST card, which is when you have basically the little locking barrel connector, generally used for fiber that's going to be running across fields and that type of thing. So that closes out our openGate 12G fiber transmitters and receivers. You can mix them, of course, with minis. So you could have a mini throwdown on set and connect to it. It just helps centralize everything and gives you all the flexibility that one is used to with a frame. The second item is the FS4. FS HDR, and this is our frame synchronizer series. The FS HDR gives you a lot of color transform capabilities coming off cameras, taking in log signals, and then getting into fresh color spaces for HDR, for instance. So that's kind of the more creative box you're going to need when you want to set up all your projects. But often you need to do a bunch of audio embedding, disembedding, conversions of perhaps frame rates or basically raster sizes. So what we've done is we've now brought our FS4 firmware up to a level where they're working completely together. So the decisions made inside the FS-HDR travel along what's known as VPID, so that it triggers correct HDR pass through the chain. The second thing we found ourselves doing, there's been a lot of virtual production going on during COVID, and it's going to keep going because of all sorts of great reasons. We found we had to kind of go the opposite direction of where we used to be, where you're trying to get rid of as much latency as possible. The irony is when you go into this kind of thing, you've got a lot more engines going on, whether it's Unity game engines, dealing with NVIDIA card interactions, gathering camera tracking data for your 3D models. So we actually needed a little more time for our users. So we extended that buffering from 6 to 20 frames, because basically most of the time you're going to have to delay the audio a little bit, so all of that matches up by the time it hits screen. It's also got pass-through of a lot of the Dolby Digital audio formats that just keep going through the chain. Really great updates there. So if anyone's already got an FS4, I recommend you update that. The software is available on the website today. So Bridgelive is our gateway for doing SDI to various protocols and compression sets. And with that box, we're looking at a 12G SDI box. We have offered, basically 4 channels HD. With the original release, 1 channel Ultra HD. With this firmware update, you can actually do 2 channels of Ultra HD, which is great. We have added a really important thing for folks that are having to backhaul, as we call it, SDI to SDI across the country, trying to avoid satellite feeds, that kind of thing. And what that means is you can be shooting with 4 cameras, for instance, in HD. As long as you've got a Genlock going for those cameras, we're dealing with the sync issues in terms of getting it across the public internet, where you're going to use SRT because you don't want anyone to grab your signals. When it gets to the other end, you can decode it from a high-quality codec like JPEG 2000, turn it back into SDI, and move it along the pipe. Meaning you can go straight into your routers, your switches, and immediately be in sync. If you're working in more of a cloud-based environment, it would go to AWS with their setups with what they call Bridge Connect. That will make sure there's the right timestamp for the cloud-based workflows. So a lot of flexibility there. That box is incredible in the sense of we added NDI as an option as well in the last year here. So you've been able to work with all sorts of codecs, H.264, HEVC, JPEG 2000, your standard MPEGs, and NDI. So it will transcode between any of those, giving you a heck of a lot of flexibility when it comes to your workflow set. When it comes to our Bridge NDI 3G, which is a 16-channel to SDI gateway, we basically have added NDI 5 capabilities now, which is the latest standard there. You're going to find that some of you will be working with NDI 4 stuff and you don't want to go to 5. It's maybe a bit too early for you. You can literally just click a button that says boot me into the 4 environment or boot me into the 5 environment. So you've got flexibility there. So there's a lot of great features going on with these new boxes. Now, the new baby, which I think a lot of you are going to really find exciting. What you have here is what's called the Helo Plus. It's our next generation of the Helo, which is a standalone H.264 recorder and streamer. However, this time out, you got both SDI in and outs as well as HDMI in and outs. And we have 2 different encoders in the box. So you can take streams from those 2 sources. They can go along their own encoding path, being put into their own protocol packages and sent to 2 completely different destinations. Now, when you have something like this where you've got 2 streams, obviously that lit up the brain and we went, how about we combine them? So effectively, we're giving you a mini kind of switcher environment right inside the box. So you've got layouts that you can do. You can import up to 99 graphics for things like lower thirds, big titles, and literally go in and design. So scale down those video sources, put them against a color map background, which you can generate from the box, and add that lower third. Those are then saved. So you do that kind of design phase before you do your live streaming session. When it comes to doing the live streaming session, you're then presented with essentially what we call a shot box. So you have 10 buttons. You will name them appropriately so you know what the layout's going to kind of look like. And then as you do the live event, all of us know that have done live events, sometimes things go short, longer, etc. You simply click on the shot box at the time you need it, and off you go. You've effectively got a very nice looking, semi-broadcast type setup all in the box. You can also, with this box, go, okay, I've recorded, etc., to USB or SD cards, or you even connect it to a NAS. So those recordings can always be handed over to somebody who needs it for various purposes after the event. And finally, it's got SRT again, which the previous box did not, so you've got the security. And I think you're going to really enjoy the capabilities you're getting here. You're looking at $16.99 US MSRP, which basically means $850 a channel. So it's a lot of power in such a tiny, very light device, and no fan. So, you're going to really enjoy this sunset. So if you want to learn more about any of these products, please just go to aja.com. You'll see the What's New button right on the front page there, and you can read further and find workflow examples, etc. for all of these devices.
A lot of great products to keep everything working together.
Oh yeah, no, it's still fun being at this company, and certainly why I keep finding myself here year after year. So for all of you who's joined us today, thanks very much for taking a look, and we hope you enjoy exploring.